Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. She is back.
I'm back.
She's well rested for the most part, except for some storms that kept her awake because we had some really bad storms recently.
We're supposed to have some more, and I'm already done with it.
Yeah. I know.
I go back to what I've said before, and I will die on this hill. There is nothing redeeming about spring. Nothing. Yeah. Like if we could just go from straight winter to summer, fine. Yeah. But spring is like everybody's starting to get sick because you go from hot to cold, hot to cold, and then the pollen comes out. Then
I'm more nervous.
The twisters come out.
I'm more nervous that I'm seeing bugs coming out right now. Like I'm seeing there's this one part of our roof that a bee always flies around. I'm like, it's probably a little hive up there or something. But I'm just not ready for. I'm not ready for that fear factor. Although I will say, last year going into this season, I felt like there was a lot more weight on our shoulders because we knew the cicada thing was coming.
Yeah.
Glad that's
there was a
Maybe
weight,
that's just
Wally.
me.
Yeah.
There
Maybe
was a
that's
weight.
just me.
It's so funny how wigged out by cicadas people get.
What are you talking
They're
about?
huge.
There was a billion of them.
The only thing I hate is when they hit your car and they make your car a mess. Like they just. Bleh.
I hate when your friends put them in your headphones.
I remember. Yeah, I remember Betty screaming at that one that was by the front door that one day.
I didn't want to go near that.
It was the worst.
Yeah, but I think you're right because spring too. Like it's hot and then it's cold. Like you can't ever get in that rhythm.
It was cold this morning.
You're cold.
Yeah.
You're yes, then you're no. You're
Well,
in, then
we
you're
did mention
out,
that she is back. And where was she? She on the weekend had to do the women's reclaim event.
Yes,
and,
I did.
You said it went really well.
It did. It went really well. I got to meet a lot of awesome ladies.
The pictures look great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Tasha Layton, she killed it.
Isn't she amazing?
She sang, she spoke twice, and at one point, I had to go up after she spoke her first time, and I felt like we had been to a therapy session, and I said, I feel like we need to pay her a copay.
Oh, really? Was it good?
Yeah, well, and so she was up there for 20 minutes, I think, and towards the 10-minute timer, there was definitely more
chucking back tears. I'm glad I didn't go because she would have got me.
Tears,
Tasha's. I think I have the utmost respect for Tasha. I think she's a great talent, a great speaker. Every time we've interacted, she's great, and I could see her being able to tell her story very well. She's done parts of it here on the show and everything. And so, I could see that, especially in a room where estrogen is freely flowing. It was probably a home run.
Now, here's something crazy, too. We didn't realize it until we got there. So we had bought all these balloons. We were going to make balloon arches for people to walk through and displays.
Yeah,
and
just
things.
a fun event thing.
Yeah, going to be so much fun. We get there, and the staff tells our crew, "Oh, you're blowing up balloons? Actually, you can't do that. We are a latex-free church."
Right then, I would have come unglued without having any more information than that. I would have been like, "Oh, latex free." I would have lost my mind, like thinking it's so woke or trying to be like ridiculous, like environmental.
That would be your first reaction.
100%. That's all I would have to hear, and I would have gone nuts.
Yeah, you need to hear the second. The reason as to why this is because they have someone on staff that is deathly allergic to latex to the point where if one of the balloons busted, then the latex could get into the AC unit and then it could kill this person. And so we didn't want someone's death on our hands, So we're trying to bring life instead of
I would have asked for that person to be replaced as a second reaction.
You're right. So there was that. And then also...
let me ask you this. If that was the case, that's one of the things, if you know that as a church or as an event space where people come and use your space, I think you should tell people that up front.
Well, I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, that something was lost in translation.
Because if it's that serious, if it's like a simple thing like, hey, we just don't want balloons, I see you don't mention that, but if someone could literally die, then I would lead with that.
I have a feeling that because we had some, on the back end, we had some people moving jobs and all that stuff.
Right,
I think
you didn't have it
something
full
was
staffed.
dropped communication-wise.
Okay.
So I think that they did tell. It just didn't get to the people that are currently...
The people that bought the balloons and tried to kill that person.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine having that death on your hands?
Yeah.
I killed somebody today. How'd you do it?
been-
Balloon.
Yeah, exactly. Then another one, we had a medical emergency.
I
Didn't
know,
see
that's
that
crazy.
happening.
And that's why I wish I had come. I started to go just to see how you guys were doing, see if you
Yeah.
needed any
Missed
help.
opportunity.
And
Yeah.
I could have stepped
So
in.
we had. Thankfully, it didn't happen when
Nuts.
I was up on stage, or I wouldn't have known what to do. But it happened
that
when
would have been great.
If
Not
it happened
great.
with Kim Weir. She was up there speaking, and she actually is the one that writes our World's Biggest Small Groups and all that stuff. But anyway, so she's up there speaking, and all of a sudden you hear this, hey, over here, help. But like as she's speaking, everybody is just like turning around. And come to find out, this woman, I guess, was hypoglycemia.
Hypoglycemia.
Okay.
that's a tough one.
And her sugar was crashing. And so they were like, candy, juice. And Tasha Layton ran backstage and got this huge jug of lemonade.
Just
that I guess,
poured it on her.
No.
We're panicking.
Right. But anyways, Becca, who does our afternoon, she called 911 and we got help for the woman. And she actually went to the hospital, got what she
Oh.
needed, and then came back.
No, she did not.
No, she really did.
She was in and out of a hospital that
Right.
fast. That's a miracle.
Well, and also too, the woman that helped her, that went with her to the hospital, was a nurse, and
Oh.
she actually wasn't planning on being there, but she got tickets last minute.
Oh, nice.
And drove 2 hours to get there.
and then had to leave.
Yeah,
But
to
that's
go
what
in-
nurses do.
But that was just really cool.
Yeah.
But we got
Did
some
you guys
little-
like clap her back in? Like, hey, she's back. Hey.
No, I didn't notice when she came back in. She might have just stayed in the back.
That
kind
would
of
have been
thing.
fun. Like, let's all
But
have orange
anyways,
juice.
we had a good time.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, once we were all done and over with, my mom and I went to go eat at Cracker Barrel, and then I went home and I took the hottest shower that I could, like 3rd-degree burn,
Yeah.
What in the-
hot water, and then I put my PJs on, and
Yeah.
then I got into bed and I watched a good Dateline episode.
There you go.
It was great.
Curl up with a little murder.
Yeah,
Makes you feel
nothing
good.
that makes you feel more comfy.
And
than
then
a
you
good
had
murder.
another day off. Like, so you took Monday off
I took
too.
Monday off, and I was so glad because we had some storms that came through on Sunday night that woke me up at like midnight.
Yeah,
And it was rough. And now
Yeah.
we're supposed to get more of them Wednesday.
I know. Yeah, I'm tired of this weather for
And
sure.
Mule Day is supposed to be coming up this weekend, and I don't know if it's going to happen because they're saying like floods could be
Yeah.
a real big
the
problem.
apocalypse around where we're at right now, and it's going across the country too. So it's gonna be a mess. Well, let's get into
It's
some
going
of
to
the
be a
stuff we
mess.
didn't get into.
Well, here we go.
What are you gonna do? I mean,
What are you gonna
it's
do?
just like having ADHD.
You sound
What
like
are you gonna
you
do?
sound like George Stephanopoulos on GMA. Yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a terrible story. Well, in other news,
Yeah, got a segue here. It's interesting. I found this thing where West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey and Robert F. Kennedy held a joint press conference to announce a ban on certain food dyes.
Yes.
And so they also were doing a thing where they were preventing people who were on like food stamps from using that to purchase soda. They want people to be healthier. If you're going to get government assistance,
Yeah.
don't waste it on Cheetos and Funyuns. Like,
Right.
like actually provide good food for your kids, you know. And I think there's a balance there, though. Like maybe there could be a thing where you get some, because even as a kid, like you want treats.
Yeah.
And so I don't
Yeah.
think that it's like, oh, you're on food stamps, you should only have broccoli. Like I think I think again, balance in everything I think is
yeah, like maybe they
the
should
key.
give them a certain amount.
Yeah,
goes
that
towards
you could get, you
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
But Kennedy, they said, didn't hold back from telling Morrissey to change his diet as well. He literally said, the first time I saw him, I said, "You look like you ate Governor Morrissey."
Oh.
Yeah, he said that during the thing. Like, and your reaction is what a lot of people online said. Said, "I'm gonna have to put him on a really rigorous regime and maybe even the carnivore diet."
Dang.
Raise your hand if you want Governor Morrissey to do a public weigh-in once a month.
Wow.
The crowd applauded.
He
And
woke up and chose violence.
no, but then Governor Morrissey was like, or said then when he's lost 30 pounds, we'll do it again. And so the internet blows up about all of this stuff, and they're like, they're fat shaming him. And so everyone is getting offended for the governor. But the governor wasn't offended. See, I think that's the weird thing
Did he
about
laugh
all of
at
this.
it a little bit, or did he just write it?
The governor
off?
himself began the event by talking about how he needed to get more healthy, challenging people in his state to walk a mile a day. He agreed to do the same. And jokingly, RFK said that he would be his personal trainer and do like the weigh-in and kind of riffed off that in the moment. And so like the governor at least didn't publicly say I was offended. Now if the governor says, dude, you crossed the line, then that's where it's on him to go, man, I'm sorry. Like, I did not mean to cross the line. I thought we were kidding around. I thought it was cool. And then he has the right to be offended. But, like, everybody just goes nuts and, like, you're body shaming people and stuff like that. And then body image experts, they have those, okay, say that weight shaming doesn't only affect the intended target. Even well-intended comments on someone's body can do more harm than good. That is interesting because I've watched it happen with Betty. I've watched it happen with my wife. I've watched it happen with my daughter. So the big three women in my life, I've seen how
and Gavin.
No, he made that joke last week and I shot it down.
I've seen how like anytime something is said about somebody else, they will internalize that same comment and think, well, if they think that about them, what are they thinking about me? Mm-hmm. And I'm not wired that way. Like, that's not how I don't think men's brains work like that too much.
But if you come across someone who is constantly judging others or making comments about someone's looks,
right?
Don't you think that if they're doing that for people that they don't even know, what are they doing for people that they do know?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, but I think that's how women think. I think
maybe.
I think, and that's why they say that it's really dangerous. And it's true. Like, words carry weight, and especially with young girls, because that can become a lifetime of, mess for them or struggles for them with food issues and things like that, where you didn't even intend to. I've heard more stories from women that talk about like their dad made a joke when they were a kid, and they held it all the way through their adult years and into like their senior years. It's crazy to think
fragile flowers.
Yeah, but I think it's harder when. Like, I get that because it's one-to-one. It's harder when you're making a joke or you're saying something and then people get offended by it. That is kind of a struggle for me. Mm-hmm. It's somebody who basically makes jokes for a living, and everything is kind of, well, I guess not everything's a target or everything can't be. It used to be. But like anymore, it can't be. So that was just an interesting thing coming out of some political stuff going on that I was surprised to see. But what do you got, Rock?
There is a new dating app, not like we couldn't use another.
Yeah.
This one is called Tribal.
Are you going to do it?
No.
Yeah. You're that ship sailed for you.
It sailed a long time ago.
I get it. I understand.
Can't do it.
Fully understand.
So a new dating app called Tribal, and I think pretty much what they're doing is they're bringing to life the whole show from Netflix, Love is Blind.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what Love is Blind is, it's a bunch of singles. They come together. The men don't see the women and vice versa, but there's a divider wall between each date that they go on. So they can talk to their date, but they can't see them. And then at the end, they get to see each other and decide if they want to get married or date or something. I don't know.
How bad would that be, though? Like, as a social experiment, you go, okay, I've built this connection with this person, and this person, like, there's something about them. Man, I just love this about them, and I can see living my life with them. But then when it's revealed and, like, they, like, are totally not your type, like, physically.
Right.
What would you do? You would feel like the most shallow person in the world, but physical attractiveness is important.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can write that off. And I think when people try to vilify that as, oh, well, you're just being, shallow. Because, I mean, there are plenty of people that would want to date Betty, but, like, and I'm not saying that she's, like picky or that she's shallow, but she has a type that she likes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I don't think you should settle off of that. But how horrible would this show be where it's like, oh, and that awkward moment of like, I just don't think this is going to work out. Like, a minute ago you said you love me.
Right. I haven't watched the show, but I can imagine that's probably happened once or twice. But anyways, if you've watched that show and you're like, man, I wish I had the opportunity to do that. Well, Tribal might be your opportunity. So you create your profile like any other dating app, but your profile picture is blurred for 72 hours.
Okay.
After you start matching.
72 hours of talking to somebody. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. But here's the creator of Tribal to give you a little bit of idea.
So the profile build and the questions are all around compatibility and values. And that's how people are matched and brought together. And I guess the psychology behind that is having aligned values, really trying to just eliminate that kind of superficial swipe culture.
It was an accent. She wasn't.
I love that.
But I do.
I love her
but
accent.
that was one thing too. Like when I was trying dating apps, it was cringy. Was that I'm judging a
Pictures.
guy
Yeah.
just based off of a photo, and I know that there are guys that I dated in the past that if I had just seen their photo and judged them solely on that, I would have passed.
Right.
But they were good guys.
Right.
So it feels weird judging someone just based off of a photo. I don't like it.
And I understand that. But if we're being honest, when you're out somewhere and you see somebody, like how you meet people, you meet by your eyes first. You don't know anything about them. You know nothing about the kind of person they're. So you meet on a physical attractiveness nature, and everybody's in their own category. And some people try to date way out of their league. And so, but like you. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
No, I don't either. But I think that there has to be an equal set of both. Like you have to have physical attraction, but you also have
100%.
to have what you believe.
I think this is a good idea, and I think for some people it will work out great.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's the answer to everything.
No,
you know?
I think it's just trying to make us less.
They should do
less.
They
shallow.
should use AI, okay? And they should take this person, instead of blurring it, they should take this person's photo and then make 2 other versions of it that are close to what they look like, but not the actual look. One a little better, one a little worse. And then you interact with them, and then you know how bad it could be. And if you're okay with how bad it could be on the worst one, then you know, okay, this is the worst it's going to be. I'm still in on this. And then you got 2 notches up. It could be better.
And at the end of the day, after those 3 days, you see the pictures, because it is an online dating app, you have the right to ghost. Like, if you
That's hard.
personally aren't
Because then you
attracted-
know why you got ghosted
exactly, which is it just adds to the level of unfairness, but it is also the fair element.
Because at least you don't get connected first. Like, because what happens is you get connected with someone, and this person thinks, oh, they like me, this is good. And then 72 hours shows up, and then they see it, and they go, whoa, and they swipe, and they ghost you. Versus if they just skipped you the first time, you never knew. You were oblivious. It didn't hurt. This way this could hurt. And speaking as someone who would probably get dumped, like big time hard on this, like I could feel for someone taking the shot.
Yeah,
man.
I feel like it would be hard to be on a dating app when you aren't feeling confident in your physical attractiveness.
Yeah.
Because you inherently are just you probably mentally are hoping someone takes a chance with you.
Right.
Because you have a winning personality.
Right.
Like that's a weird mentality that I feel bad for people that like have to think that through within their own brains.
Yeah.
So you're not going to do this one.
Didn't set up an account.
No.
Understandable.
Yep, this one's weird.
What do you got for birthdays? We didn't have any yesterday. We
I
just
didn't
did a
see
question.
any.
Well,
Unless I
Rebecca, she wants to wish Isla Kate a happy birthday.
Isla, that's a great name.
Isla loves For King and Country and Ann Wilson.
Oh,
Nice.
same. The cross.
Her question brings us back to the dating scene and getting dumped. Her question is, who did you go to prom with and why?
Whoa, are we going to say names?
Yeah, we never had prom when I went to a Christian school.
Yeah.
It was like didn't do dancing and stuff because it's sinning.
Room for
Amen.
the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, so we didn't do that. We had
Six Bibles.
banquets. They had called them like the sweetheart banquet and stuff like that.
Could you take a date to those?
Yeah, oh yeah, you could date to those, and it was just like prom without the dancing and the sinning. It was just it was with dessert, you know.
Okay, who'd you take?
I went.
Wait, did you get asked?
No, I had a girlfriend a few times during that. Like I was dating, and so I went with Jennifer to one of them.
Jennifer.
Yeah, and then I went with another girl, and then one year just didn't happen.
So you didn't go?
No.
You still went?
No, I didn't go.
You didn't go because you didn't have a date. You
I didn't
didn't
have
go.
a date. Yeah. No, I would. Yeah, I wasn't gonna go without a date. It was a sweetheart banquet.
Really?
Yeah.
Would people make fun of you?
Oh, 100%. Because you were there.
Aw.
It was like a Valentine's Day banquet.
Oh, that's
so
so
you were
sad.
there designed to be. You didn't go like a group of 4 girls didn't go just as friends to the prom, like to hang out with each other. It was a dating thing.
Really?
And so if you didn't have a date, you didn't go,
Aw,
and you
that's so
dropped all this
sad.
money, and it was, and that was the week prior to that they would do all the flowers you would buy for each other, and how brutal that is.
That's tough.
Did you ever go to? You didn't do a
We
prom,
didn't have
you?
a prom either. No.
What in the world?
I know. We went to a really
Y'all.
small podunk school.
What in the snap?
And I think we had a class. I can never remember. I need to go back and count. It's either 12 people or 15 people that were in our class. But what they would do is they would do a junior senior banquet.
Yes, we had one of those.
So you could. It was the juniors and the seniors, and both are very small. So
Right.
let's say that there's 30 people, 30 students there. You could go with friends.
Yeah.
So my junior year, I went with all of us. Just went as a bunch of girls and went. And then also my senior year. But I will say, there were 5 guys in my class.
Oh, great restaurant.
And 3 of them I had known since elementary.
Like a kid, yeah.
That's different.
I saw one guy throw up jungle juice on the jungle gym
Oh, I love jungle juice.
back in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. You just can't see past that. There were no guys in my class that I wanted to date at
Sure.
all. And then if you go up one, the same situation was there.
Yeah.
So I didn't really care.
Yeah, you didn't have a lot of options.
I
at
didn't
that
have a lot
point.
of
Yeah.
options. Now, I will say on top of this, when it came to once you got to high school, we always had what do you call it? Where you get voted in and it's your
Prom queen, homecoming queen.
It's kind of like that, but it wasn't. I don't
Homecoming
know.
court.
Yeah, homecoming. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's kind of like that, but not until someone else says
I
it.
said sorry.
Gavin, you're a
thinking.
genius.
She was
Okay, it was
thinking
what
while you were
what
talking.
Gavin said. Okay, so when you were freshman, junior, and sophomore, okay, there were 2 girls that would get elected into. So two freshmen, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors.
Out of how many?
It doesn't
8.
matter. It doesn't matter how many girls.
There are
in
only
your
2
but
girls
only
crying.
2
What
get
could the
there.
trailer fit?
And then the girl gets to ask whichever guy she wants. It doesn't matter what class, but as
Whoa.
her escort.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and he
And
has
so,
to?
well, no, I guess you could say no. But anyways, my senior year, I got voted in. And so I had to ask a guy to go with me. And so I asked David Barbercheck.
Oh, I love that name. I've heard
David
you mention that
Barbercheck.
name before.
He was the redhead.
Yes,
He was
look
the
at
redhead.
that.
I'll tell you what, it's
Do you
an
have
investment.
pictures of this by any chance?
Oh, I'm sure I do.
I'd love to
Not
see a
with
picture of
me. But anyways, I asked him and he said yes. But I mean, once again, I was choosing from 5 guys in my class, which I guess I could have gone younger, but I
Right.
didn't. And I just chose David because he didn't have anyone and we got along. And I was like, hey.
And there's some value to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still.
I got along with everybody,
you can
but I
still
was
have
just
fun.
like, meh.
Yeah. Haley didn't date in high school because she same thing. She was like, I'm not going to waste my time on any of these guys. None of them are anything that I
Yeah.
even remotely think I would like to date
Yeah.
or marry one day. Let's see. We had about 35 kids in my class, and so then we had different, grade levels, but my school was really small, so our options were limited. And then when you look like this, your options are limited even further.
And back then you were.
It's even smaller.
Smaller, full
Yeah.
facial hair, long hair.
Oh yeah.
Oh, bless
Yeah.
What
it.
did you look like in high school?
Like Dennis the Menace. I look like Dennis the Menace.
Because
You've seen the videos, haven't you?
I
Like
don't
in the
know.
photo. We posted a couple of videos.
Have we? I've definitely.
Yeah, of Wally
I
in
know-
high school. And he
Yeah.
looks
I know
really
Heaven's
skinny,
Fire.
Yeah.
lots of hair
Yeah.
on
I
the
can't
top of his
remember.
head.
Yeah.
Which is an era
less
thing.
gray.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You
He
weren't
was-
wearing glasses either, were you?
No.
When did you get glasses?
Later on, I didn't wear them in high school. I
Oh, you
needed them, but I didn't
yeah,
wear
why
them in high
would
school.
you?
I had enough working against me.
Oh, I'm with you. And we didn't. They didn't make good glasses back then.
No,
We're
no.
talking Dork City with.
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was
of those.
bad. So there was no way
Bless.
I was doing that.
I didn't like mine.
Did
in
you
high
ever get
school.
asked out by a girl?
Yeah, like very infrequently. But yeah, I mean, I tried to date this one girl that was a year ahead of me, like a senior.
Cougar.
And, yeah, that was really tough, and I went all in and like just got destroyed.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
what'd you do?
And she was so nice. Oh, I was like, I mean, I would drive up. Like she lived 40 minutes away and stuff like that, so I would drive to see her. I'd bring her flowers and stuff. And but she was so like kind, but it was like she's just
that's
wants to
where
be a friend.
you can't trust the kind girl because they might be just being nice to be nice.
And she was, and I knew it, but I just kept swinging, thinking that one day I'm going to wear her down. Yeah, and
smart.
This was the worst, though. This is the thing that was the worst about this girl.
Try again.
So I tried for the better part of a year, and I make no headway. Yeah.
Yes. Where were your siblings? Like, at least your sister should have been like,
I know,
dude, stop.
they should have. I think they were like, let's watch what happens. This will be funny. So I really put in, and so then. And she doesn't date anybody. That almost makes it worse because, like, you then are not better than nothing. And so
she'd choose nothing over you.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, this is horrible. And so then
did everybody know you asked her out?
Yeah.
So
at some point, it's gonna be 35 kids in class. It's apparent.
Yeah. And so then she starts dating somebody who has literally the exact same car that I have.
Okay.
And there were like 3 other things that were all exactly me, but not me.
This is so hard.
And like he was a good looking dude. He was taller, like better looking and stuff. And so it was super obvious, like why you weren't dating me. It's because I was like a bridge troll.
Loser.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And so that was a tough one to
I'm so
to
sorry.
take. That was a hit. Yeah.
That will never not be like. And when I say sad, I just mean it in a way where it's like so many of us have been in that situation when you're 16, 17, you don't really know like how to handle all of your feelings.
Yeah.
And girls or vice versa are so like it's so destructive at that age.
Oh, especially when girls are making like bad decisions too.
Sure.
Like with the guy that you know is a jerk. You listen to him in the locker room.
They always go with the jerk.
I know, and I was always the nice guy. I was always respectful.
Yeah,
like
but
I was
the nice
always
guy
nice.
doesn't get you
Funny.
anywhere.
Yeah,
and I'm speaking as a girl. Like it's not right.
We're not necessarily we're not worth the investment until later on.
Until you get dumped by a bunch of guys and get like totally just abused, not physically, emotionally.
Until girls see that they want something that is more stable, and they've been through a lot of breakups or divorce, and then they're like, "Oh, I want the nice guy."
Yeah, exactly. And then they will like maybe give him a shot, and then they break up with him, and they go with the first bad boy that comes back down the pike. It's like this was boring.
So advantageous to be the bad boy.
Oh, I know.
Or tall.
Yeah.
Or handsome.
Anything. There's advantageous
Yeah.
things to being not Gavin and me.
Yeah. But I will say that because to answer the question, I went to like 4 proms in high school.
How many
did
with
you
your
take
sister?
a date to all? Which one was your mom?
Oh man, cousin.
Yeah,
No.
Betty's school was so small. The junior-senior prom was where you actually dated the librarian who was 84-year-old Ethel.
No,
She was a nice lady.
I went to a small school when I lived in Texas where it was like 30 people to a class. Like I was almost the valedictorian of a small school.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of that, and we moved.
Oh.
But as senior year, I went to my prom and Haley's prom. So,
that's good.
And then sophomore, and our prom was everyone could come. Except for freshmen. I don't think freshmen were allowed to come.
No,
So
not
you
at
took
all.
a date to every single prom?
Yeah.
So you asked them out?
I did.
Yeah.
They were
Each
my
girl
girlfriend.
said yes?
They were my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, okay.
Each
Wow.
in each situation.
Okay. Did you ever feel like as a kid that you could not date?
Oh, I wasn't allowed to date till I was 16.
But I mean, you saying you go to 4 proms and you had a different girlfriend in each one. Did you feel like you just had to have a girlfriend?
Oh.
Betty's like, looking at you. How did you do
No,
this?
that's not what I'm saying. I'm
Dude,
saying,
no, go back to high school.
You could have gone
I
without
was an
having a
athlete,
girlfriend.
70
but,
pounds lighter than this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
What did you feel like you had to have someone?
It's always interesting looking back on it because I was the type of kid in high school that did go all in.
Yeah.
And like I said, I love you way too
Oh,
early.
yeah, me too.
I was a
Wow.
cringe fest in
Stalkery.
that regard. But
Borderline stalker.
Borderline. But I was a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I was always a really good boyfriend.
Yeah, me too.
Got dumped by 2 of them. One, I did the dumping.
Yeah.
But I was always such a good boyfriend. And I just genuinely, I think, like really liked the people that I dated each time. And so it was, again, small school. It was a small school. And so therefore you inherently were pretty close to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so you then, in essence, I think there was almost this weird pressure that if you were really good friends, and why I do believe that when you're really, really tight as, you know, a boy and a girl in high school, like the intersection of friendship and dating is going to be so blurred in your head.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, look at this closeness I feel with this other person.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever since gone back and Facebook stalked
Yes.
anyone and been like,
She just got married.
am so glad that I didn't end up with you?
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like I've actually done that. Like some of the girls that dump me or whatever, I'd see their things. I'm like, oh, all right, I did all right. I did better.
There's such a fast.
Let yourself go.
Fast.
So mean.
Back to the very first conversation
Now-
we had in the
now-
Aftercast.
Now you're a bad person.
They might be doing the same to you.
Yeah, they probably
Totally.
are. And that's fine. Like that's the thing. I don't get offended by it. They could have done better. They could have done a
But just
doctor.
because you don't get offended by it doesn't mean that you should just be able to do that to everybody and that they should react the same way you do.
But if they made the joke, you would laugh at that joke.
100%. I wouldn't be offended.
If I pictured, like, Haley has always known me as a slightly bigger guy, or I'm big. I'm too big. I'm trying to lose weight, but like she's always said, she's like, I don't know if I could see you being 170 pounds again. Like you'd
that's
just be
nice.
very small.
That takes
Like,
the pressure
That would be.
off.
Yeah, it does. But I'd be curious to know.
My
if,
wife knocked a sandwich out of my hand the other day. She's like, "You pig! What are you doing?"
You already don't eat. But if like Jessica from high school,
Yeah.
who knew me as a 160-pound soccer player,
Yeah.
looked at me now, I wonder if she'd be like, "Whew, doggone,
What happened?
what happened to that boy?"
Yeah.
His wife didn't knock a sandwich out of his hand.
Right.
But I do have a kid.
My wife knocked it out of my hand and landed in Gavin's mouth.
That's my life.
Oh,
was
man.
good.
All right. Well, I think that's going to have to cover it for our Aftercast. I think we've officially offended everyone.
Sorry.
And so we are good for today. And as always, thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.